Hey guys, and welcome to the 9th video of the One Pattern Songs series. Today we will tackle The Devil's Tears by Angus and Julia Stone, which is another perfect example of a song based on one single pattern. In this video I will show you how to play the intro, whereas the rest of the song, which is basically made of variations of the intro, will be covered in a separate video on the All of Acoustic Patreon page. Well, that said, let's jump into the technical details. First of all, Capo on the first fret, and the tuning is standard. Then second, we're going to have 4 chords, and very interestingly, all of them are going to be played in second position. Starting from this E minor, that you're used to play this way, but in this case we're going to play it like this. So we're going to use only the first 4 strings, and the notes are the E on the 4th string, then the open 3rd and 2nd strings, and then this high G on the 1st string, 3rd fret. Alright, this way. Then the second chord is a C added 9 chord, which is basically a C major with the D on the 2nd string instead of the usual C. Alright, this way. Then the third chord is a G major chord, in which we're not going to use the first string, and you can mute the 5th string with the middle finger of the left hand, this way. And then the last chord is the classic D major. Then, third, the fingers allocation. In the E minor and the D major shapes, the thumb will handle the 4th and 3rd strings, the index finger the 2nd, and the middle finger the 1st. Whereas in the C added 9 and G major shapes, the thumb will handle the last 3 strings, the index the 3rd, and the middle finger the 2nd. Then one last thing before we begin. Keep in mind that for each chord we're going to have 2 groups of 4 half notes, alright? Because that's how I'm going to explain the pattern to you. So let's start with the E minor pattern. The first group of 4 half notes starts with this arpeggiated chord, alright, to be played this way. And the notes are the E on the 4th string, then the 3rd and 2nd strings open, and then this F sharp on the 1st string. Alright, this way. This chord is then followed by the high G that we obtain with this hammer on. Alright, one more time. The last 2 notes of the group are then the E on the 4th string and then the open 2nd string. Now, let's play this first group together. 3, 4. Nice. The second group is definitely easier, and the notes are the E on the 4th string, the high G, then the G on the 3rd string, and then the B on the 2nd. Let's play the second group together. 3, 4. Nice. Now let's combine the 2 groups. 3, 4. Nice. Now we can switch to the C added 9 chord. And the first group of 4 notes is actually made of 3 notes, because the first one is a quarter note, so it's longer than the rest. And more specifically, it is this double stop between the C on the 5th string and the D on the 2nd string. This way. This double stop is then followed by the E on the 3rd string and then the open 3rd string. So let's play this first group together. 3, 4. Then the second group is made of 4 notes, and they are the C on the 5th string, then the D on the 2nd, E on the 4th, and then open 3rd string. Let's play it together. 3, 4. Nice. Now let's play the whole C added 9 pattern together. 3, 4. Nice. Now we can switch to the G major chord. And the first group of notes follows the same structure as the first group of the C added 9 chord. So we're going to have 3 notes instead of 4, and the first one is this double stop between the G on the 6th string and the open 2nd string. This double stop is then followed by the open 4th and 3rd strings. So let's play this first group together. 3, 4. Nice. The second group is more straightforward, and the notes are the G on the 6th string, then the open 2nd string, then the open 4th string, and then the open 3rd string. Let's play this group together. 3, 4. And now let's combine the two groups. 3, 4. Alright, now let's move on to the D major pattern. And we start the first group of 4 notes with this double stop between the open 4th and 1st strings. This double stop is then followed by the F sharp that we're going to obtain with another hammer-on, this way. One more time. The hammer-on is then followed by the A on the 3rd string and then the D on the 2nd. Now, let's play this first group together. 3, 4. Now, the second group of 4 notes is very interesting because the first 2 notes are part of this chord, the D major, and they are the open D string and the high F sharp. But the other 2 notes are part of the following chord as a sort of anticipation of it, and they are going to be the open 3rd and open 2nd strings, this way. Alright, let's play them together. 3, 4. Now, let's combine the 2 groups. 3, 4. Alright, now let's play the pattern of these 4 chords together. 3, 4. Great. With just this pattern, you have learned about 80% of the song. And in the next measures, we're going to repeat this pattern with a few differences. 2 of them in the E minor pattern and 1 in the D major pattern. So, remember how we started the E minor pattern with this arpeggiated chord? Well, this time we're just going to play this double stop between the 4th and 1st strings. So instead of playing, we will play so without the 2nd and 3rd strings. The second difference is that the 3rd note of this very same group is not going to be the E on the 4th string, but the G on the 3rd. So instead of playing, we're going to play. Now the other difference, as I said, is in the D major chord, And remember when I said that in the last group of 4 notes of the D major chord, we anticipate the following chord? Well, in this case, we don't need to anticipate anything because the following chord is going to be another D major. So instead of playing, we're going to play. Alright, now let's play this new pattern together. 3, 4. Cool, now we can move on to the last measure of our pattern. As I said, we stay in the D major shape. And in this case, we're going to have 4 groups of half notes. So let's analyze them together. So the first group starts with this double stop between the 4th and 1st strings, followed by the A on the 3rd string and then the D on the 2nd. Let's play it together. 3, 4. In the second group, we're going to have the open 4th string, then the 1st string, then the 3rd string, and then the 2nd. Let's play them together. 3, 4. Now, the third group starts with the same double stop of the first group, followed by the high G that we obtain with this hammer-on. The last 2 notes of the group are the A on the 3rd string and then the D on the 2nd. Let's play them together. 3, 4. So in the fourth group, we're going to stay in this position where we ended up before, so D major with the high G, and this is definitely the trickiest one. So the first 2 notes are the open D string and the high G. After that, we're going to pull off the first string this way, combined with the A on the 3rd string. So the result is going to be like this. Now, let's practice it together. 3, 4. Alright, and the last notes of the group are the D on the 2nd string, and then the 5th note, which is the beginning of the following measure, and also the ending of our pattern, this double stop between the A on the 1st string, 5th fret, and the open D, this way. Now let's practice this last group together. 3, 4. One more time. One last time. Alright, now we can play the whole pattern together. 3, 4. Great, you have just learned how to play the intro of The Devil's Tears by Angus and Julia Stone, and as usual you're going to find the video with the variations along with the PDF tabs on the All of Acoustic Patreon page. See you there!